Well, you got to play a little bit both nickel and deep safety last week. Do you feel at this point, I know you played both so much, is there one that's more of a natural home and fit for you?
No, I mean, I worked a lot throughout at fall camp. I never played nickel before until this year, though. So, I mean, obviously, that was a new position for me. But, I mean, I got a lot of work with it at fall camp. Coach Yates, Ben, and Jamal did a great job helping me out. So, I mean, it was a adjustment at first. But, I mean, I think I've gotten the hang of it.
Looked like a little bit more, when especially red zone or red area, at 25 and then really, you did a little bit more deep. I know Steve was also back there, but it looked like last week at least you were doing a little bit more red zone, deep safety stuff. Just walk me through just when you have that kind of short field and you know obviously what the goal is.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the goal when we're in the red zone is 3 or none. I mean, we want to keep them to as minimal points as possible. I mean, that's our goal every time we get down there is make sure they don't score any touchdowns. I mean, just anything we can do to prevent that.
What does last week's matchup where you guys took away Ronnie Rivers well on the one play in particular in the red zone where you had that there? I don't think it was proper. What does that do when you're matching up against a running back group like this where they have 3 or 4 guys that they can manage?
No, for sure. I mean, they have a great team and great offense. I mean, they open up the pass. We're starting out the run ball. I mean, so obviously first and foremost we got to stop the run. I mean, we stop the run. It'll help us know when to get into pass situations and whatnot. But I mean, everything starts with stopping the run. They have 3 really good backs, really good O-line, tight ends, and receivers. I mean, quarterback play everywhere on their offense is really good. So I mean, we just have to come prepare this week and just get ready.
With what they do with their receivers, in particular in the slot, I know Wilson has moved now to the X, but he was traditionally before. Ruckert at tight end, you mentioned him. What kind of challenge does that pose from a slot position where whether you're a deep safety or a nickel, that's probably going to be up against?
Yeah, I mean, it's a great challenge. I mean, it's not like it's no different from any other week. I mean, we want to go in and shut their receivers and tight ends down to the best of our ability. I mean, we can do that. I think we'll have a great chance. I mean, they're, like everyone knows, they're a really good group from everyone, from number one receiver to whoever's at the bottom, the tight ends, backs, slots, wherever they are. They're a really good team. So, I mean, we'll have our hands, but I think we'll do a good job.
If you think the communication was back there, obviously some new faces, did you think that stood up, and especially in the second half? It seemed like it got better.
Yeah, I mean, of course. I mean, I think it was a big adjustment. Obviously, it was my first time playing in Austin, so I mean, it was pretty loud. But I mean, of course, the game goes on. You get used to it and whatnot. I mean, just making sure we're communicating on the same page and no broken plays or anything like that.
What things stood out, I guess, just looking back on film, especially on the pass? Like, was it mostly just assignment errors? Was it guys getting beat, or kind of how did you reflect upon what you saw on film?
I think it was just consistency. I mean, just playing in, play out, playing with effort, technique. I mean, getting to the ball is the biggest thing. I think with explosives, they're going to happen throughout a game. Adversity is going to come. I mean, the biggest way to eliminate all that is just getting 11 people to the ball, and I think we did that a pretty good job. I mean, obviously we had some let-ups, but
much of a test. You talk about letting up the big play. This team had 3 over 55, I think, in the past in the second half alone. What's the challenges there, and just the receivers in general? You seen players like this really? Have you faced guys this good?
I've been in college for a while, but I mean, they're a really good group that they have over there from receivers, running backs, and tight ends. I mean, it's top of the country, but I mean, I think if we can do our jobs and just keep the ceiling on it, we'll be just fine.
A lot of people making a lot about the nearly 300 yards allowed, but you guys never got beat over the top. No ball ever went over anyone's head. Even the 39-yarder, Quez had to run all the way across the field, left to right there, and the quarterback scrambled like crazy. Was part of the game plan last week, particularly with Quez and Dante just being newer guys, to just keep the lid on and not get beat like that and just keep the top on the coverage?
I mean, not necessarily. I mean, as a defense, I mean, wherever you are, whoever is on the field with you, I mean, your goal is always eliminate explosives. I mean, if you can make an offense work up the field and put together long drives, I mean, I don't think a lot of offenses want to do that. So, I mean, that's always our goal is just eliminate as many explosives as possible and make them work for their yards.
The reason why I ask it is just how important, given all these guys, is not getting beat deep by a group who, like Eric just talked about, explosives is part of how they feast on a weekly basis.
Yeah.
To keep the top on in a deep safety capacity, how critical is that? You want to play, you want to be aggressive, but this is a team who can capitalize on the smallest errors or just the least amount of space.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think it just comes down to communication and consistency again. I mean, from everyone just playing together. I mean, we can communicate amongst ourselves, just do the right things, have right assignments, right techniques, and all that stuff. I think we'll be just fine.